for the June program, working together is our main theme, with the Early Bird Cafeteria and Standard Supply under the very special direction of Uncle Fred, which we're proud to be a part of. And we want to share what little talents we might have with you. And we hope that we'll have a fine time. Aunt Amelia has done a very special and great deal of putting this little program together. She has written quite a bit of the parts, and we want to honor her very special. So we'll begin with a word of prayer, and we'll ask Jerry from backstage to come and offer the opening prayer, please.
Do a good job before your people. Bless Uncle Reuben with life, health, and strength and all that he needs. Bless Dad in his work and travel so he can have the things that he needs. Pray for those that are sick and afflicted at this time, they can get well according to thy will. Pray for these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
We will say the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please stand? Ready, begin.
In memory of Uncle Roy, we dedicate this to Uncle Roy. Grandfather, great-grandfather Warren Johnson, his family, before some of his children passed away. And the little boy on the lady's lap is Uncle Roy. Warren's family, after some of the children had passed away, and the little boy standing by Grandfather Warren is Uncle Roy.
Great Grandpa, when the West was new, walked till he wore out many a shoe. He toiled hard and he toiled long, and all the while he sang a song. Great Grandpa was a special man. He said, I'll do the best I can. He worked right hard himself to tame, and taught all men to do the same. Great Grandma, when the West was new, stood by Grandpa staunch and true. She worked beside him all her life, a comfort through his toils and strife. She welcomed to his family tree ladies old and young to be, helpmates in his busy life, love the children of
Standard Supply Company actually had its beginning back in 1932 when Isaac Carling and a man named John T. Spencer decided the community needed a store. They each had $51.70, which they put together, making a total of $103.40 as their capital stock. The store was set up in Isaac Carling's living room. It was called Spencer and Carling Mercantile Company. Since Isaac had the only truck in town, he hauled all the supplies in from Cedar City. He brought only the necessary staples such as flour, lard, sugar, salt, soap, and lye, etc. These were purchased in bulk, so people had to bring their own containers to get their things in. At this time, there were only about 100 people in the community, and most of them were members of the LDS Church, being a branch of the Rockville Ward. The men built a small 2-room cabin across the street from Isaac's place. The store was set up in the front part, and John T. Spencer lived in the back room. Then John T. Spencer put in a gas bowser and called it Uncle John's Service Station. The gas was brought here in barrels and stored in an underground tank. It had to be pumped by hand, which came up the bowser into a 10-gallon glass cylinder, which was then drained into the waiting vehicle. And if you needed more than 10 gallons, you had to pump it up again. After I graduated from grade school, I was paid $15 a month to be the clerk in this store. Shortly after Isaac Carling died in 1938, John T. Spencer sold the store and service station to Sarah Lavinia Black, who was also the postmaster in Short Creek. She changed the name to Short Creek Supply Company. She ran all 3 businesses for 10 years. Then she sold it to her son Warren Black in 1948, and he changed the name to Standard Supply Company. His wife, Ruth Black, became the new postmaster and store clerk. She ran it for 2 years, and then in 1950, Warren sold it to the business to Carl Holm, who purchased it for the storehouse, and thus it became under the management of Uncle Fred. In 1952, a new store and new service station were built on the present location. At that time, the store and storehouse were one and the same. Aunt Fawn moved into the upstairs part of the new store and became the new postmaster, and the post office was in the downstairs in the corner of the new store. As the population of the community increased, the store went into commercial retail business and was under the management of David Broadbent. He changed the name to Dave's Merc. The service station became J&B Service, which stands for Johnson, Jessup, Black, and Barlow. Standard Supply still carried on in a very meager way until the late 50s, when propane came into use in the community. The only evidence of the dwindling company was a small wooden platform, 10 by 12 feet, which held 17 100-pound cylinders, which was set up under a tree east of Uncle Fred's house. A new building for Standard Supply Company was built on the Carling property in the early 60s. Standard Supply then branched out and included other supplies such as pipe, lumber, plumbing, and electrical fixtures, etc. And at this time, Joseph C. Jessup and Sterling joined the company, and in a few years, Knapp joined it. In 1965, I became the bookkeeper, and it has now been under the management of Uncle Fred for 41 years.
The history of the early bird, and it began years ago, about I don't know how many years ago. It was at the dawn of creation when all the birds began hatching and scratching and snatching. Well, this went on for at least 5,950 years. And all the while there was a great deal of hatching and snatching and scratching until in 5,959 years, that was the year that a new bird came into being. And it didn't hatch and it didn't snatch and but it did do a lot of scratching. And that was the early bird that we know. And it was inspired into being because of a need. And this need was to feed people, men that came into the community that didn't have a place to go to eat. They were working on the road at that time, the new highway. And Uncle Fred set Aunt Marietta up in a little building that was just about 100 feet north of the old store where Jethro has his offices now. And she fed those men breakfast, dinner, lunch and dinner, made lunches for them, I think, for 2 years about, when the road was done and they were to leave. And at that time she kept on serving people there, and the missionary boys were the ones that she had made meals for. Well, this went on for some years, and they needed a place for a post office because the store was getting to be too little for whatever things they needed. And so they moved the post office over into the little building, and Aunt Mariette made a cafe down in her own home to feed the missionary boys. Well, and in 1970, Uncle Fred brought me home to run the cafeteria. And when I set up in the school kitchen up to Hilldale, where Barco had their business. And when they built a new building over here, we built a new building over here right beside them and started to make dinners there. And that day, the day we started to open the cafeteria, was June the 8th, 1972. And we worked in that small building for 7 or 8 years. I don't remember exactly the year. But then Uncle Fred and I decided that we needed more room in the kitchen, and the very next thing I knew, he was out east of the building stepping off 25 more feet. So we enlarged the cafeteria to the present size. Well, we've built had a great lot of things going on there all these years, and there's been a lot of people that have helped me, and I'm very thankful to them for the help that they've given to me. And when we made the new building, he bought a big mixer, and since then I've mixed bread and I've made pies, and we've made lots of meals and lots of sweet rolls and cakes and all kinds of things. But I've made 31,000 pies and 65,000 loaves of bread in these last 20 years. And we're quite notorious among the neighboring towns, because every once in a while I have somebody come in and say, so-and-so said that you had real good food and we want to taste it. So that's the way we've grown. And even among the birds, we're quite notorious, because one Sunday morning, when I was sitting out on the back lawn, and it was such a beautiful sunshiny morning and not too warm, and I heard a mockingbird up on the hill, and it was singing all kinds of beautiful bird phrases. I counted 25, and then it sang a chorus. And then it would sing at least 25 different kinds of bird phrases, and then it would sing a chorus, and I listened for 15 or 20 minutes to it. And every time it would sing the same chorus, and that chorus was, "Early bird, early bird, early bird."
We Monday morning, Knapp and Sterling both were up before the sun. They could see no use in sleeping with so much work to be done. Uncle Fred was first to call them. He had need of helping hands. Who could do the electric wiring? Knapp and Sterling were the men. So they packed their wires and pliers, and they got the job done soon. Then they also did a dozen other jobs that afternoon. On Tuesday, they were just as busy as the day before. Someone's dryer had burned out, and the fridge ran water on the floor. So while Sterling worked on leaky water heaters, toasters, freezers, stoves, and such, Knapp was busy around the town, delivering propane in the truck. On Wednesday morning early, before the sun began to shine, Sterling got a phone call. There was a mother on the line. "Oh, Sterling, can you help me? My washer's broken down, and I have a monstrous wash to do before I go to town." "You betcha I'll be over, and we'll get it running right." That's how the day began, and it went clear on till night. And so the week continued. Sterling always knew the trick, and Knapp was glad and ready to deliver propane quick. Whenever someone needed help, Knapp and Sterling were the men. The handy-dandy fix-it man who runs Standard Supply. On Saturday night, when work was done, 2 tired men went home. They ate, relaxed, and went to bed. And then the telephone.
Hi, Mom. Aunt Permelia says before you can cook anything, you have to read the recipes. So, I like to make scrambled eggs first thing in the morning. And here's my recipe. 5 pounds of boiled bacon, 2 pounds of eggs, 3 pounds of ginger ale, 1 fat, 8 gallons of salt. I hate food without salt. 4 pounds of pepper, and 1 knife of butter. 1. First, you open your eggs with your mittens. Then you throw the rest, excuse me. First, you open the eggs with your mittens. Use only the inside of the eggs. Throw the rest in the sink. Put the eggs in a 10-pound can and cook the bacon in a plastic pan. It doesn't taste right if you don't do it the way it says. Get your pan real hot. If you get your pan real hot first, it only takes 2 minutes. But if you don't get your pan hot enough, it takes 3 hours. Serve them in the morning or in the afternoon, and you'll need a lot of orange juice with it. When she says a lot, she means a lot. I like spaghettis. You use 41 sausages, as big as your ear. Not as big as mine, no. Mine's big, so you know. 41 meatballs. Not quite so big. 41 orange potatoes. Or is it tomatoes?
It's your recipe.
I say tomatoes. And 41 spaghettis. 41 clean oil.
Cooking oil, strain it first.
I did. First, you will decide what it will be tonight, sausages or meatballs. And when your father tells you which one, then you cook. Mix the sauce in the blender so your elbows don't hurt. And when the spaghetti is done from the cooking in the broiler, 2 degrees or maybe 3.
Don't get it too hot.
Put it in the silver pan with the holes in it. With your spoon with the holes in it. And then you spread out the sauce, and it serves your whole family and all your dad's friends.
All of them.
This is one of my favorites. Plain fish. Three plates of plain fish. 1 can of Crisco, and 1 can of vanilla. Some meal that isn't oatmeal. Don't use oatmeal. I don't know any more things. I know a fisherman has to go out in a boat all night to catch the fish on his fishing pole.
I like to use a net.
She would. It sure is a hard job, all right, and I've tried it, I know. This first has to cook in a dinner pan and get out 3 little jars of pepper. This doesn't even call for salt. Do 8 shakes up and 11 shakes down. Then you flip them with your turner thing for 11 flips. If the fish gets done, you go to the table and light the candles, but leave the lights on or you won't see how good it is. After you ate enough, ask to be excused.
She likes fish. I think they stink. I like ice pops, especially in the summer. You use 1 whole can of any kind of drink, except for beer. And then you use 11 sticks, or 9 sticks maybe.
Who's this for?
Me.
Oh, that'll be enough then.
And you use them regular refrigerator silver things, you know, those square things that turn ice into little squares. You take and you shake up the juice for some hours. Okay, we're through now. Be sure to put the sticks in upside down, else you won't have no handles. And maybe you could never get the ice pops out. Now, it has to freeze good, or oh boy, when you open it, it'll spill all over, and the floor gets all sticky, and the bad ants come. Usually it takes till lunchtime to freeze them all up, you know, but not always.
Somebody's little girl's up here. My mommy lets me help her with Thanksgiving dinner. A whole turkey. 1 bag full of a whole turkey. Get the kind without feathers, not the kind the Pilgrims ate. A giant lump of stuffing, 1 squash pie, a little fancy dish of sour berries, 1 big fancy dish of a vegetable mix, $20 dishes of all different kinds of candies, chocolate balls, cherry balls, and peanuts, cherry chocolates, licorices, Get up when your alarm says to and get busy fast. Unfold the turkey and open up the holes. Push in the stuffing for a couple of hours. You have to pin the stuffing into the turkey or I suppose it would get out. Get the kitchen real hot. And from then on, you just cooked turkey. Then you put the vegetables in the cooker. And first you put one on the top, and next you put one on the bottom, and then you put one in the middle. And that makes a vegetable mix. Put 2 red things of salt and 2 red things of water in it. Cook them to just 1/2 of warm. Don't cook them too much. Put candies all around the place, and when the company comes, put on your new red apron.
Working in the kitchen all the livelong day. I've been rubbing on the dishes just to pass that time away. Can't you smell the bacon fire? Folks are coming on the run. Can't you see the dishes whirling?
Because of her close association with the early bird, then Aunt Permelia often refers to herself as the Little Red Hen. Every so often she says,
Who will help me? Asked the Little Red Hen.
and when she wants to emphasize things, she says,
Will you girls please get those dishes done? Said the Little Red Hen.
So when she accidentally drops an egg on the floor, she naturally says,
Cackadacket, cackadacket.
steps over the egg, and goes on about her work, leaving the gathering of the egg to someone else, like any good hen would do. Then she goes to the little table to make pie, saying, Millie, put the turkey in the oven.
You want me in the oven? I won't fit.
By the way, if you're wondering why we had macaroni for 3 days in a row, 1, 2, 3. We have a cook whose eyes are too big. I mean, bigger than her stomach, she read.
6 pounds for 6 cups.
Some of us are taking college classes, so we study as we work. One day, among the din of the pots and pans, we heard,
Timber!
Dina had joined the singing class and was practicing her voice lessons. We've had our ups and downs, like when the steam table ran all night. And the water raised up 2 inches all over the floor. It's a good thing the Steed brothers came for breakfast that morning. We furnished the mops, they furnished the scoops. And soon, we were ship shape again. Another time, the ceiling fell down 10 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It took the fire department and several repairmen to get us out of that one. As you can see, everything isn't always joy and gladness. Every day we have to whip the cream. And beat the eggs. And stir up some kind of fuss with the casserole. We even slap butter on the bread. Smash the potatoes. And occasionally crack a smile.
Of friendship, add a cup of thoughtfulness, cream together with a pinch of powdered tenderness, very, very lightly beaten in a bowl of loyalty. Add a cup of faith, one of hope, and one of charity. Be sure to add a spoonful each of gaiety that sings and the ability to laugh a little at things. Moisten with sudden tears of heartfelt sympathy. Bake in a good-natured pan and serve respectedly.
They wanted to, from behalf of Standard Supply and Sterling, our families, we wanted to present Aunt Mariette with a bouquet of flowers.
We've got a couple of other things here that we want to do. We want to give Uncle Morgan a really special thanks for sparing Permelia to help us with this program. And we want to give Permelia a thanks for being spared. Somebody's little girl again. We would like Aunt Permelia to please step forward. We have something special for her.
Passes
we've got a little something here for our mother Connie too.
This is our last number, and since Uncle Fred feels like that he feels more comfortable where he's at, we've asked Aunt Mariette to lead us, and we would like the audience to participate. The words to the last song is written in the program, and you may stay comfortable as Uncle Fred is too, and stay seated while we sing the last song. After the last song, we'd like Uncle Knapp to please close with prayer.
Your Spirit will continue with us. Thank you for the participation we've had and the opportunity of being involved in the program. Help us to be worthy of the protection and the blessings that we need. Please bless Uncle Rowan with everything that he needs. We pray that his prayers may be answered. Help us to have the faith in our prayers to be the support that he needs at this time. We pray for the sick, they'll get well according to your will. We say these things in the name of